welcome.
Yep, thank you all for coming. We'll start when you're ready. Thanks, folks.
Ian, could you talk us through the decision to go with Geordie at 12 over Roger?
Yeah, combinations from last week. They played 2/3 of the 3/4 of the game in that space with Bodie at fullback, Geordie there. Just felt that, I guess, the learnings and experience they had there just flow through to this game and maybe make some changes later on.
So it's more a reflection of the way Geordie went at 12 as opposed to the progress you're seeing from Roger?
Yeah, probably the same answer, to be fair. So it's based on the experience they had last week, and just felt they can start at a higher level because they've just had best part of 60 minutes of a test match, so that combination's a bit stronger.
What do you like about Geordie at 12?
Well, first and foremost, it was a pretty unique situation because we lost 2 players within about 5 minutes of each other. So it was a late change, clearly, but it's a what if that we have to deal with, and it's a what if that we've been dealing with, I guess, at trainings, and so it went pretty good. He was a bit rusty on a few calls and showed probably too eager in many ways, but again, there's some nice lessons there, and Roger's had a couple of NPC games again, so he's come back in and training well, and a chance for him just to watch the game unfold and then see what happens.
What skills does Geordie have, at 12?
He's a strong carrier, aggressive defender, can kick, and a good communicator.
Had you envisaged starting Geordie at 12, or is it a case of need to must with the injuries you've got there?
Injuries, yep.
Ian, Sam Sains was named player of the match, scored 2 tries last game. This game he's on the bench. Can you just talk through that decision?
Yeah, look, the last test of a pretty big block. Sonny's had an outstanding series, and so it's a chance. Cody's been working hard behind the scenes, and we really believe he's in a good space now, and it's a chance to inject Sonny in the second part of a game, and to have a sort of a slightly different impact role than what he's had as a starting role. But we're pretty excited about that 1-2 punch for this particular game, particularly at the end of a championship when maybe energy levels are down a little bit. So just to change the picture a little bit.
Does Cody need this start to kind of lead that Argentina behind?
Well, he's been preparing well. He'd be the first to admit that wasn't his finest hour, but he's a quality person, quality player, and I know he's really keen to play well for us.
Ian, Dusty Swain's been given 6 weeks. Do you think that's the right punishment?
Oh, it is what it is. We spoke after the game and basically said there's a process that people go through. We're fully aware of that. We go through that ourselves. So he's got what he's got.
Did you see it as an intentional act?
Like I just said, I'm not sure what I haven't read the judiciary thing, but clearly he's gone through a process, and that's what they've come up with.
Can I ask, did he or the team reach out after that incident?
Not aware of that, to be fair. I don't, either way, yes or no, I don't know.
If you'll miss 6 weeks rather than games, should a ban like that come down to matches rather than weeks?
Oh, look, I've been through a lot of judiciary processes. There's a lot happens in there that I don't know what they've actually come up with, but I'm sure they've been consistent with what they've done in the past. Either way.
You're on being named in the Australian A team?
Yeah, I think I've answered enough questions. Like I don't know all that, so the judiciary would have taken all that into account and come up with what they guess is a fair. I mean, we'll go back and our people will always review decisions to make sure we learn from the processes, but it seems to me that they've come up with a pretty satisfactory answer.
Does this game have a sort of a knockout feel?
It's got a final type feel rather than a knockout. I think it's, if you look at the state of the rugby championship, there's a few unknowns, isn't there? And so we probably can't, there's some parts we can't control because there's a game after us, but there's a massive part that we can control. And, we can control the quality of our performance. And we know last week we're playing against a team that we've got massive respect for and pushed us to the wire. And when we've taken a whole lot of lessons from that, and we've got to make sure we've learnt from them. So for us, it's just a big occasion. We want to make sure we just go out there and put our best foot forward, and from our thing, we just got to do what we've got to control what we can control, which is our performance, and then what happens after that, we'll wait and see.
How good is it to be back on Eden Park where you've had quite a lot of success?
Yeah, it's great to be here. You know, it's a ground we love, and you know, to play your last test of the year at home here feels good.
You afford yourself 5 minutes during this week to look back over the past 3 months and think, gee whiz, we've been through quite a lot, and I've been through quite a lot, as in you.
I've got plenty of time after this game to do that, and probably going to, you know, we'll reflect on the campaign after this game. Like right now, all our energy's on Saturday, and you know, we'll do what we always do, reflect on it. You know, I guess reflect on the journey of the championship, and it's you know, it's been a very different one for all 4 teams in many ways, but it's also pretty exciting from a rugby championship side that we've come to the last game and no one really knows. And so from that, I guess from that perspective, it's exciting. In terms of personal journey, it's just the life of a rugby coach, Sam.
Ian, what's wrong with Scott Barrett, and how close was Shannon Frizzell to being considered?
Shannon, not really. We had to wait and see when he came in, but you know, I think at a pinch he may have been able to play, but with a decent break after this, it just seemed the wrong decision, and so we've got a chance to get him 100% right. Scott Barrett is, you know, we've been managing his Achilles for a month, and he's been doing really good, but there was a little bit of I think you may have seen him getting treated in the last 15 minutes of that test, and he had a little bit of a calf tear tightness that's really just put that a little bit in doubt, so made that decision early.
Ian, with Geordie's move into midfield, did you consider Will Jordan at fullback, and what made you go with Bowden?
Well, Bodie played 3/4 of the game there last week, so again we felt like those combinations we'd already been using. Did we consider Will? Yep. And you know, you might see him slip back there at some point.
Artie's taken over the captaincy and Sam's come off in games this year. How come Sam Whitelock is captain this week over Artie?
Yeah, well, a little bit of a copy and paste answer, but it's actually a very similar thing. Is that he led the team for a large part of last week. Artie wasn't there on parental leave, and then we had a bye before that. So Artie's last contact with the team was actually the Hamilton test. So really felt it was better for Artie just to come back and get back into it, get his mind on his role. You know, he's a key part of our game plan, and so we really just wanted to give him the week to get back in and get refreshed. It takes a bit of adjustment when you miss a week, and just feeling like coming back in and catching up with where the team's at. So that was the reason.
If we think long term, how important is Saturday for Akira, especially on home turf?
That's important for everyone. And if you look at Akira, there's plenty of competition. If you look at it from a personal side, there's plenty of competition in the loose forwards. That's the way we want it. We believe in the skill set that he's got, that he can really contribute, you know, with the ball, without the ball. He's a different type of defender, and a different type of carrier to the likes of Scott Barrett and Shannon. So it's important that he finds his way into the game and is able to utilise his strengths in that skill set. And so, you know, it's a big challenge because the Wallabies loose forwards, you know, they played a very physical, combative game last week, and that's what we're expecting out of Kira.
Dalton?
Pardon?
Dalton? What do you want from him?
Same thing, really. Same thing. There's a nice little challenge in that part of the game, and you know the Wallabies played a very sort of a confrontational, close quarter. Tried to do a lot of grouping of our forwards through their carry clean type stuff, and it's an area that you've got to be strong defensively.
After last Thursday's test, both you and David had different complaints of the referee. Australia took a step writing to World Rugby about it. Would you take that similar move, or did you think the the officiating concerns got to a certain level, you put it into there like that?
Without being smart, but can you remind me what my complaints to the referee were?
I think you had a problem with Kelway try. Were you talking about?
Yeah, well, that was in response to questions on time wasting in an isolated incident, and so my response after the game was more related to we've got to players have to learn to listen to referees. So that was mine. So what was the next question? Sorry.
So I mean, you obviously, I think you answered it. You obviously don't share the overall problems with officiating at the moment.
Well, I think it's easier to say it's a cliche to say there's overall problems with officiating. I think you've got to be really specific. I think it's tough on refs now. They're under a lot of scrutiny, and when people perceive that decisions have cost games, then they get put under the microscope, don't they? And last week's has created an issue that's pretty well talked about, but it's it's from our perspective, we've gone through a normal process. There's always things that we would like to see different, in a test match, and we've presented our case in that space too, as we normally would. But overall, what I liked about Matthew last week is he backs himself. He's strong, and if he sees a decision, he makes a decision. So does it mean everything's right? Not really, but that goes the same with all of us, I guess. But they're working hard behind the scenes to get things right, to grow experience, I guess, before a World Cup. So it's a tough process for the refs.
Because of all the talk and the debate over the end of the game from last week, do you expect this weekend's referee to clamp down on perceived time wasting as well?
I don't know. I'm going to meet him at 1 o'clock. No.
Is there a precedent with that now, though? Ian? Like, we've seen it called before, so do you think that sets a little bit of a precedent going forward and around that time wasted?
I just think, look, I'm not frustrated by the language, but there was, and I said at the time, and I think I've been very consistent. If you look at the last decision, it's the biggest issue out of it wasn't time wasting for me. The biggest issue is that when a ref gives you clear instructions, that at some point you've got to listen to it. Otherwise, what's the point of having a referee out there? And so that was my main point. And so time wasting, I guess every team will find ways to slow momentum down at certain times, and so, but if there's a move by World Rugby to speed up the game and have less time wasting, well, we're 100% in, because that's what we want.
You were 6 championship games this year. You've had 5 Northern refs. Is that odd for a rugby championship campaign?
Look, I don't think it's odd. I think this is a campaign that World Rugby's made a move to try to grow some experience with a group of referees to look at options for next year with a wider tournament coming up. So I think that's probably pretty standard. I think what's been intriguing is some of the more experienced, there's 2 or 3 more experienced referees that have sort of been rested during the Rugby Championship, which is a kind of another issue.
You find that intriguing, or you found that an issue in a crucial competition?
Well, I'm sure those experienced refs might have, but no, from our perspective, it's fine.
Team, we'll take one more, please. So we've got to get the next lot.
What is the fallout? It's been incredible, the talking points from last test. What does that say about the state of the Trans-Tasman rivalry?
I'd say it's alive and well and kicking, really. It shows a lot of passion, and shows that you lot are all very interested.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, go for it.
Geordie, how exciting is the opportunity in front of you this week in the midfield?
Yeah, it is exciting. Another fresh challenge, but it's a challenge I've been waiting for a wee while now, so yeah, I can't wait.
Played there a bit last week, obviously, and but for the Canes, do you feel like it's a position you're growing into and getting more used to it at this level? I know you played there a lot for Canterbury and Lincoln, but sort of at this higher level?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with playing 12, and it just presents another challenge at this level. Got a bit of a taste last week. Yeah, but it's another test, Eden Park against an Aussie side that's hurting, so yeah, I'm expecting a bit of traffic.
Rico, how's it been gelling between you guys at training this week? Is it gone pretty well? Ian seemed to be pretty happy with it in Melbourne, but on the training paddock this week, how's it gone with you two?
Yeah, no, it's been pretty good, I think two misfits lining up in the midfield. So yeah, look, as he said, it's been a long time for both of us to sort of arrive in this midfield, and yeah, the training week's gone pretty good. He's a good talker, so makes my job a whole lot easier. So.
What do you mean by two misfits?
There's we weren't initially in this team as midfield cover, and to be lining up on Saturday, it's going to be awesome.
Rico, what do you like about?
You're not the sort of prototype midfield shape either of you, or are you?
You're talking about like 5 years ago, eh?
Yeah, I was talking more 5 years. Yeah, not so much now, I guess. Yeah, and I guess we're probably not the prototype, but yeah, who knows.
Rico, what do you like about Geordie as a 12? What does he bring that's kind of, a bit fresh and different?
Yeah, I think he's Geordie's a strong carrier, and he's got a good pass kick skill set, which is good. It provides another threat to our back line, and I think just his skills from the back, coming from fullback, you need that vision. So, with Deha and Quinn gone down, he slots in perfectly to suit our back line.
Where did you play mainly as a kid in school and in under-20s? Was it midfield or?
Yeah, I was a 10 until I was 15 years old, and then slowly shuffled out to 12. And once I got into that professional level, I was too skinny, so I had to go out the back. But yeah, hopefully now that I've got a bit more size on, and yeah, I'm enjoying playing 12 again.
As a kid, starting a test in 10, 11, 12, 14 and 15.
Oh, mate.
That's not bad, is it?
That's it. Coach next week.
Down to 9 and 13 to go.
Yeah, I certainly won't be going near those two jerseys.
Sure.
Rico, it's slightly different, obviously going from the wing to centre as you have to fullback to second five. But when you think about the challenges of moving from the outside backs to the midfield, what have been the biggest ones for you?
I think probably the one that the challenge I found was the defence side of things, and it took sort of a couple games to adjust to. But other than that, it's for 13 coming from the wing. I think I've said it before. Like as a winger, what you want from your centre, and likewise, Geordie tells me what he needs from me when he's playing 15. So the same goes for him this week, and he knows what our outsides want, and with the deadly outside backs that we do have, getting them time with ball is crucial for us.
Rico, how do you assess Rogers' development? Another chance for him off the bench this weekend. How have you seen him, I suppose, in and around the group, and how have you seen him grow into his role at this level?
Yeah, look, Rogers been awesome. He's hasn't played so many games, for the ABs this year, but in and around training, he's learning as much as he can, and he just wants to play and learn. The midfield's a tricky area, like I just touched on. So him getting games under his belt for Auckland, and learning off the 12s we have in here is just only gonna accelerate that progression. But I'm excited to see him go out there on Saturday, back at the Garden, home stadium. So yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Geordie, was last week's try, was it the best moment in rugby?
His best ever.
Anyone's best moment in rugby, no.
Like it was certainly up there. you could argue there's another couple of nice moments there, but it was pretty special. A Bledisloe test in Australia that in some ways we won out of nowhere, but it was a pretty cool moment for this team, and the Bledisloe we cherish, and to lock it up for another year was cool.
There have been a couple of players talk about the physicality the Wallabies bring. When you say that, do you mean that they're just a tough opponent, or do you mean that they step pretty close to the line in terms of legality?
No, I think generally it's just tough opponents. I think the learnings we got out of the first half last week, a lot of our carry height and tackle height was too high against a big physical, athletic pack that they put out there against us. So we had to learn pretty quickly, lower our height and our tackle and ball carry. Otherwise, we get beat at that up high. So that's one thing we've been working on this week, and we've got to get our height right against a tough physical team.
Geordie, given I know that last week was back-to-back wins, but given the nature of it and obviously all the talking points and everything, is consistency the last box this team's still looking to check? Is it a bit of a driving ambition for you guys to kind of put the good ones together?
Yeah, for sure. I guess in here, in this All Blacks environment, we chase it every day, and to be honest, we haven't been too proud of some of our work in recent times, and we want to get better every week. So, like you said, winning each week is obviously main purpose. So, another big one's expected this weekend from us.
Rico, they're obviously going to be pretty motivated given the way that game ended. What kind of edge are you expecting from them, and how do you guys prepare for that?
Yeah, I think obviously they're just going to be a better side than they were last week, and I think both teams are looking to do that. But like Geordie said, the pack they chose last week was pretty physical, and like you said, they're athletes that can play footy and want to run and tackle hard. So we're expecting more of last week, but just at a high intensity. And I think being back at home for us, we want to lift and play the game that we should have ended on last week.
The question for both of you. People in the street reflecting on the best now have been expecting the All Blacks to make them proud again. It's going to be a last game home. How do you feel? Do you feel that expectation? How do you feel entering this special stadium?
Pardon, sorry, they want to
Playing
playing at home. Oh,
in front of our fans.
in front of our fans. Perfect. I think obviously we as a team hold Eden Park, as one of our most special, if not the most special stadium to us, and it's like Geordie touched on, we haven't been too proud of some of our games that we've put out this year. So putting on an awesome performance in front of a home crowd that's we're looking forward to sold out should be awesome, and that's something that if we can get that performance that we're after, it builds us nicely towards the back end of the year.
What was your line? A skilled sailor?
Smooth seas never made a skilled sailor.
Another one for today? Any more?
I was actually looking at some quotes, but they didn't really fit with what I was going to say today, so nothing today, guys.
All happy?
Thank you.
Thanks, team.
Thanks, guys.
Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Yeah, it's it. Thank you.